So this video is going to go over the Module 2 ReQuiz questions, and I'm going to do both the yellow and the green at the same time here. Okay, so some of the questions are going to be out of order for probably the yellow test. All right, so this one here we needed to find the vertex in the graph below. So remember to find the vertex. You're looking at this point right here, so we have to count out the x's and out the y's. So if we're going to count out the x's, we go 1, 2, 3. So it looks like it's out 3 on the x and up 1, 2 on the y. This one here looks like it's out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the x and up 1, 2, 3 on the y. Here we have to find the equation that actually represents the function. So for both quizzes, the skeleton of the equation is y equals x minus the absolute value of h plus k. And remember, there also could be an a value out there, and that's going to be the slope that's in front. So I need to take that into account. So I'm going to kind of just set up the skeleton here. I know it's going to be x minus something plus something on both of them. Okay, so then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read the vertex off of here, and it looks like it's out -1, so the vertex is -1, and down 2. So I'm going to switch my sign for or if I put the negative in, I really switch the sign for the x, and I keep the sign for the y. And then let's do the same thing down here. Let's grab the vertex off of this one. So the vertex here, it looks like it's out +1 and up +3. So I switch the sign to a negative, and then I keep the sign of positive on that one. And now we're going to count the slope. So I would probably I scribbled on that one too much. Probably draw a slope triangle in there, or at least kind of look for my slope triangle. It looks like I'm up 1 and over 2. So it's a 1/2. This one here looks like I'm up 1 and over 3. So it's a 1/3. And they're both opening up, so they have to be positive. So it looks like it is this one here and this one here. All right. If g of x equals the absolute value of x minus 4 or x plus 3, which of the following represents a function that's translated down 3 units? Down 3 units is only going to affect the y value, so all you're going to have to do is find a -3 in the equation. So same function, -3 would be that one. This one says we have to go up 6, so that's going to be represented by the y value moving up 6 or +6. All I have to do is take the function and find the one that goes up 6. Does the point lie on the graph? So all you're going to do with this one is plug the point in and see if you get a true statement or a false statement when you do that. So I'm plugging in 3 for the y. And then it looks like I'm plugging in 2 for the x. So let's see, -2 minus 2 is 0. And we're checking to see if this is true. We don't know if it's true or not yet. So we get 0 plus 1. Absolute value of 0 is 0. So then I have 1/2 times 0 plus 1. 1/2 times 0 is 0. Sorry. 0 plus 1 is 1. So this is definitely a false statement. So this would be a no on this one. On this other one here, I'm going to put in a 2 for the y. And I'm going to put in an 8 for the x. So 8 minus 2 is 4. So again, I'm checking to see if this is true. I don't know if it's true or not yet. So I get 8 minus 2 is 6, not 4, sorry. Absolute value of 6 is 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So I have 3 plus 1, and 3 plus 1 is 4. It's definitely not true, so this one is also a no. All right, so we need to decide if it's a less than or a grade 2. So on the green quiz, it looks like it's a less than. So it's an and statement, which means I'm getting rid of this one and this one, because those are ors. All right. So I'm going to go to a positive expression, and a negative expression. I still saw people doing this wrong. You have to put it on the expression, not on the number. All right, I'm going to add the 3. So 2x less than or equal to 10, and then I'm going to divide by 2. So 5. And then we're going to distribute the negative. So negative 2x plus 3 less than or equal to 7. And we're going to subtract the 3. So 7 minus 3 is 4. Then I'm going to divide by a negative 2. When I divide by a negative, I have to flip the inequality sign. And 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. We're going to write it fancy because the 2 is smaller. I know it's an and. And remember, the alligator mouth is open towards the x. So I haven't changed this. I just turned it around. And then this one is less than or equal to 5. So it's got to be this one here. All right, on the yellow quiz, it's a great or. So I know it's an or statement, so the and ones are gone. If I had to guess, I'm guessing between those two. So we've got a positive expression and a negative expression. All right, so I'm going to start by adding the 3. So when I add 3, we get 2x greater than or equal to 12. And then we're going to divide by 2. And we end up with x greater than 6. So it's kind of starting to look like that one right there. But let's double check and make sure that we agree with the other one so we didn't make a mistake. We've got negative 2x plus 3 greater than or equal to 9. I'm going to subtract the 3. So negative 2x greater than or equal to 6. And I'm going to divide by a negative 2. And we divide by a negative 2. We have to, sorry, I'm messing it up. We have to flip that inequality sign, because we divided by a negative. And 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. So it's definitely looking like that. And we've got to put the word or in between it. So that looks like the correct answer there. All right, on this one, the first thing we would have to do is on this one here, we would divide it by 2, get that coefficient off the front. And this one we would divide by 3. So here we would have the absolute value of 3x plus 2 equals 3. On this one, we would have the absolute value, I'm going to leave myself some space here. Absolute value of 2x plus 5 equals 4. Then we're going to split it into a positive expression. I notice this one was 9 on the yellow and 8 on the green. A positive expression and a negative expression. Always on the expression, not on the number. So I'm going to do the same thing in this one. Positive expression, negative on the expression. So we're going to subtract the 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1, and then we're going to divide by 3, which would be positive 1/3. So it's definitely not anything that has a negative 1/3 in it. We're going to distribute this one in, so negative 3x minus 2 equals 3. I'm going to add the 2. You get 5, and then we're going to divide by a negative 3. So we're going to have negative 5/3. So positive 1/3 and negative 5/3 both work. Okay, here we're going to subtract the 5. So 2x equals negative 1. We're going to divide by 2. We've got a negative 1/2, so we need a negative 1/2. So my guess is the positive 1/2 is probably out. I could probably guess that that's gone. And it's definitely not just that single 9/2 and this single 9/2 here. It's got to be one of these two. We're going to distribute this in, so negative 2x minus 5 equals 4. We're going to add the 5. So 5 plus 4 is 9, and then we're going to divide by the negative 2, so negative 9/2. So it is, in fact, this one right here. All right, this one's number 9 on the green and 8 on the yellow, and it's actually the exact same problem. So there wasn't a difference in this one. So we're going to start by dividing everything by negative 2. So the absolute value of x minus 7 equals negative 4 divided by negative 2 is positive 2. Then we're going to have a positive expression and a negative expression. Here I'm going to add the 7, so x equals 9. So again, I'm looking for that dot 9. So this one has the 9 dot on it, so I would type in an A. On this one, it's an A as well. And then here we're going to distribute the negatives. So negative x plus 7 equals 2. I'm going to subtract the 7, so you get negative 5, and we're going to divide by the negative, so you get 5. So the other one where the dot is 5 is C. So you would type in A and C. On this one, it would have been A and B. All right, so these are similar, but not exactly the same. Right now, they both look like great ors, so we should have an or thing going on. Here we're going to add the 3, and here we're going to subtract the 3. So this one we get absolute value of x minus 2 is greater than 11. And this one, we get the absolute value of x minus 1 is greater than 3. Then I'm going to split it into a positive expression and a negative expression. A positive expression and a negative expression. All right, we're going to add the 2 on this one. So x is greater than 13. I don't know what I just wrote. I don't know why I wrote the equal sign. X is greater than 13. On this one down here, if I added the 1, x would be greater than 4. We're going to distribute this in and this in, and we'd get negative x plus 2 is greater than 11, and negative x plus 1 is greater than 3. And then subtract the 2, and subtract the 1, and we'd end up with negative x is greater than 9, and this one would be negative x is greater than 2. Then we're divided by negative, we flip the inequality sign and we get a negative 9 and a negative 2, and you stick the word or in between it. All right, on this one we have a less than, so it's a green 11 and yellow 10. So this is an and on both of these because they're less thans and they're almost identical problems, so just the numbers switched around a little bit. So we're going to start by subtracting 4 from this one and 3. It went a little bit forward on me, didn't it? Oh boy, we're back to the beginning. All right. I did it again. All right, I'll see if I can keep my hand off of that part. On this one, we're going to subtract the 3. So here we have absolute value of 2x plus 2 is less than 4. And this one is absolute value of 2x plus 6 is less than 10. Now we split it into a positive expression and a negative expression. A positive expression and a negative expression. All right, we're going to add the 2 here. And on this one, we would subtract the 6. So you've got 2x less than 6, and this one would be 2x less than 4. On both of them, now we're going to divide by 2, so we get x less than 3 and x less than 2. And this one we're going to distribute. So you've got negative 2x minus 2 is less than 4. And this one, negative 2x minus 6 is less than 10. So negative 2x, we're adding the 2, so at 4 plus 2 is 6. Here we're adding the 6. 6 plus 10 is 16. On both of them, now we're going to divide by a negative 2, which means we have to flip the inequality sign on both of them. And 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. And 16 divided by negative 2 is negative 8. It's and. You could simply put the word and in between them. Or you can write it fancy if you want to put the smaller number first and then make the sandwich. And then the bigger number. Smaller number first, make the sandwich, the inequality sandwich, and put the bigger number. And I believe that that's it for this one.